Chicago Mayor Emanuel introducing an ordinance that would limit where gun stores could open and require them to videotape every sale. Earlier this year, a federal judge ruled that Chicago's attempt to ban gun sales was unconstitutional. Emanuel's latest plan would use special use zoning to keep gun shops out of Chicago. Gun shop owners would be subject to quarterly audits of their sales, allow their records to be audited by police, and have police department approved security plans in place before they can open. Our next guest is a Chicago native who's had enough. He's moving out of the Windy City, saying the Democratic Party has really left him no choice at this point. Joining us now, New York Times bestselling author Brad Thor. His upcoming book is entitled Act of War. It's available now for pre-order. So go out there and order. And Brad, you finally, what took you so long?
Well, to credit that introduction, I'm also a gun owner. I own a lot of guns. I love my guns. I hate the policies in Chicago. You know, you and I talked before we came on air. If liberal economic policies worked, California and Illinois would be models for the nation, yet they're at the bottom. Illinois has the worst bond ratings in the country. Moody's cut Chicago's bond ratings again and said maybe if they doubled property taxes, that might help them. You know, the time to get out of the theaters before everybody else smells the smoke. And I'm moving to Tennessee. I'm moving to Nashville.
Well, listen, I got to tell you, Nashville is probably the best city, one of the best cities in this country right now for a variety of reasons. But I got to tell you, there's more than smoke. Chicago's on fire. I mean, you got out just in the nick of time, man. This fact that you haven't fallen to smoke inhalation is a miracle already.
Well, you know, for us, it's the tax policy. So we had a temporary income tax that was only supposed to increase 4 years. Now the Democrats want to make it permanent, and Mike Madigan, the Speaker of the House and the head of the Illinois Democratic Party, wants a 3% tax on millionaires. And that doesn't even matter if you're a small business that has an S corp and files on their personal taxes. We are telling people in Illinois, if you're successful, if you create jobs, don't come to Illinois because we're going to treat you like a second-class citizen. Well,
guess what? They're not coming. By the way, there's a debate over what the three great lies, and one of the contestants is temporary tax hike, okay? Also, the violence. Let's talk about that for a moment because I think Chicago, you know, what happened in Santa Barbara was a tragedy. But that kind of stuff happens in Chicago every weekend.
Yep. Every weekend. Never gets reported. We've got murders that are through the roof. And yet, if you get a white kid who kills other white kids in Santa Barbara, that's national news. But we have black and brown kids dying every single weekend in Illinois, and it doesn't make the national news. And it doesn't because the mainstream media is largely controlled by the left, and they don't want to examine the root causes of this violence. It's not poverty. It's the dissolution of the families in these neighborhoods. You've got kids that don't have fathers. And so it shows that liberal policies have failed. So it won't get the national attention it deserves, not even from President Obama.
You know, a lot of people feel like this is hopeless. And I got to tell you, I'm a big fan of global politics. I look around the world and you see elections in Europe and places like France, you know, and the UK. And maybe there's some hope, but do we have to hit rock bottom, you think? Does the entire country have to be on fire like Chicago before we all get it?
Well, what was Margaret Thatcher's great line is that everybody likes socialism, but eventually you run out of other people's money. And I think that's what we're seeing around the world, is that this tilt towards Marxism, this socialist rush headlong into bankruptcy is not working.
It hasn't worked. Thanks a lot. Brad Thor, you're the best, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Charles.
Well, that's it for Lou Dobbs tonight.